Hey guys, this is Gaijin Hunter. I wanted to make a video for two purposes. One, to show you guys off the new 1440p support on Xbox One, because I do play on the Xbox One X, which I adore. And I also wanted to show off Diablos and give you guys some tips, because I know it's an easy monster for a lot of us, but not for everyone. There are new players or people who are not familiar with the monster who have a hard time, so I wanted to give you some tips and strategies on how to easily take it down and never be scared of it ever again. So starting out, as I was saying, Xbox as adding in 1440p support. That is a display that monitors for gaming use. For example, my monitor is 1440p and runs at a max of 165 megahertz. So it can do, 120 frames per second, which I do believe they're going to be adding 120 frame per second support for games that can push it. I don't think Monster Hunter will, but I think some games can. So resolution 1440p just makes everything look a little bit more crisp on this monitor, and you do get higher bit rates if you are recording with the Elgato 4K, which also supports 1440p. Of course, that means huge file sizes, but hey, all in the name for quality, right? So okay, enough about the Xbox. Let's get into Diablos. For this one, I'm just going to use low rank. The point of this is not to show you me beating him up. The point of this is to give you some tippers on how to handle him, and I don't want Basil coming in and really ruining the quest, which he does on high rank. A tip for the wise: if you ever go into a high rank quest, make sure you have dung pods on you, because Basil is very susceptible to dung pods, so go ahead and dung him if he shows up, and he generally will leave. So when you start this quest, you definitely want to make sure you've unlocked the northeast camp. That's almost always where he spawns. So it'll give you a very quick direct doorway directly to him. Now I know a lot of you guys are going to ask me what my armor is. It's not important, but I'll show you anyways. This is just something I quickly threw together just for this video actually. It's just earplugs, attack, critical boost, weakness, exploit, and slugger. A very late game set just with good charms and stuff. It's really no big deal though. Okay, let's head out and beat up a Diablos. Now, one of the things I always like to do if it's a monster I'm new against or a monster I'm not good against is to simply observe it. And that's exactly what we're going to do. And we're going to see the best thing to do is to observe it at different distances. For example, we'll see how it reacts to us in long range, mid range, and short range, because every monster knows if you're close or if you're far away, and will have different patterns that it does depending on where you are. Diablos, and you'll see why, is a monster you want to fight at long distance, because it's very easy to egg him on and make him do specific things. So there's Diablos. This is called the greeting. In Japanese, they always say aisatsu. It's always customary to smack him in the face. Let's see what he does. Oh, so he's got a charge attack. And he goes in the ground. He does a straight beeline for you. Just go backwards and evade back, and you'll be okay every single time. Literally, it's when people panic and they start running to the left and right, that's when they get hit. So he is charging at us, and you see all these rocks around here? Well, we might be able to use those to our advantage. So let's go ahead and try that out. First, let's lure him back over towards this middle part. Good boy. In case you guys didn't know, Diablos is a boy and Black Diablos is a female. See if we can egg him on. There he is, and he gets himself stuck in the rocks. So you can use this for some free whacks on the head, which of course is good, because if you break the horns, he does get weaker in his charge attack. If you break one, it's the same power, but if you break both, it does get less powerful. If you notice, after a charge, he generally does 2 tail swipes, turns around, and does another charge. We can use that to our advantage as well. For example, tail swipes 2, 1, 2. Whoops, we're going to do another 1, 2. And we knew he was going to turn around because he always does. So you can time out depending on your weapon, what attack you want to time out. But when he turns his head around, it's a good opportunity to give him a smack. And that's really all he can do at long distance. He can charge at you, can do a double tail swipe, or go into the ground and try to knock you down from underneath it. So really nothing special too much about a long distance. Let's go ahead and check him out at close distance, and you'll see where he starts to transform into a real pain in the butt. So here we are, mid distance. Okay, fine. Do your ground thing. So do mid distance here actually, because close distance you don't want to be doing against him, because you'll see why. But close is okay, or mid is okay. Oh, what's this? He does a little strut and then a turnaround charge. That's going to be very hard to avoid if you are in close distance, but mid distance it's kind of okay. He also has that crazy double swap right here. Believe it or not, his tail is actually really powerful during that attack, so you could get caught in the crossfire of that. Ooh, going for a charge. Now, if you just started an attack and he goes for that charge and you're mid-distance, you're generally risking getting hit because he's going to do it pretty fast, especially if he's enraged. 2. So just remember with Diablos, 2 is the magic number. It's exhausted. This is a good opportunity for me to go upstairs. I actually forgot Screamer Pods. Screamer Pods can be used when he goes into the ground to knock him up for a stun. Generally, you want to just have them on you, but if you don't, you can use flash pods in this area up above to get some. Remember, these monsters were screaming with a really high-pitched sound in that cutscene with Baroth? Well, guess what? Go ahead and take care of these guys. If you go ahead and flash pod them out of the sky and carve them, you do have a chance of carving a Screamer Pod. Very useful. Where is Diablos? Ah, Diablos is over there. Okay. Eating cactus. In case you guys weren't aware, Diablos is a vegetarian. Eats cactus. Cacti, I suppose, is the right plural form. This is an annoying area to fight Diablos because it forces you to be at mid to close distance if you're not careful, which you definitely don't want to be. Hey, Diablos. Oh, there's a new move that we hadn't seen before, which is the hip check. Hip check is something that Diablos will do if you are somewhat close to mid-distance. Oh, poor Diablos got knocked out of the ground. And I whiffed every hit. There's that 1-2 again. Again, very dangerous to be very close to this monster. Mid-distance, okay. Close, a little tough. If you are a Lancer, you have no choice. But even with Lance, though, you can guard all the attacks, so it's not a big deal. Wait for it to go in. Every time. Okay, now that we've sort of seen long distance, mid distance, I'm going to show you why you don't want to be close distance, or at least to understand what it does if you do become close. Hey Diablos, I'm right here. So you get that massive hip check. The double swipe. Ooh, it's too close. Hip check. Oh, that hip check has such big distance. Double strike. Quick turn and charge. Let's see if we can use this to our advantage. This even opens up a little platform so you can jump off of it and get mounts. And that is how most people die, is they get tripped by him and KO'd and then they get hit. So if you do have the ability to have stun resistance on, it will also make the monster easy if you are someone who gets hit by it often. Let's get back close distance again. So if you notice when he does the hip check, we're generally getting hit. One of the better things to do is not trying to evade away from it because it's so wide hitting, but actually just go through his legs to the other direction. See if we can bait him into doing a hip check here. Hip check, Diablos, hip check. Come on. Stop being tired. I know I'm making you run around, but come on. 1, 2. There we go. Very sloppily done, but you can see how during the hip check you can go to the other side. And you notice you can even get it to knock itself out because every time it hits those posts, it's actually doing stun damage to the monster. If at any time you're really having a hard time because when he gets really upset he runs around really fast, you can use these flash pods in the area. So it flies, and that will sort of make him a little bit dizzy. This will slow him down. Obviously you get this huge window right here where you can be whacking on the face, which is really nice. Okay, now that Diablos is weak, it is going to go down to its nest and try to escape. This area is nice for Diablos because it's got this very narrow pathway, so it can use to charge you. If you get close distance and he starts doing those sort of double horn swipes, it's going to be very hard to avoid him if you're inside of this area right here. So you definitely want to get down into the middle to fight him, but he can use these sand walls to jump out at you, which can be a little tough to deal with. Again, if you just keep it long distance, you can bait him into doing everything that you want him to do. Charging. And here he goes into the sand, if you noticed. Sometimes when he does the sand, he'll come out of the ground like that at you, and other times he'll come out of the wall at you as well. I think most people when they die to this monster is because they're close distance with him in this area. Watch what happens when you go close. It's going to be doing lots of double swipes, tail swipes, turn and charge, and also even that hip swipe. What you doing there, Diablos? I'm over here. Again, this is very easy to avoid because I'm not attacking, but imagine if you're in the middle of a combo, you're probably going to get hit. See, he's baiting us to go over there, but we're not going to fall into that trap, are we? Ah, he was going into the sand wall. Watch out. Woo! He comes out in a straight line, so if you wait for him to jump out and you just run to the side, you can generally avoid him pretty easily. Okay, I think we've had enough time running around. It's time to kill this monster and put this video at an end. I hope this video gives you guys some tippers on how to deal with Diablos. Again, if you have the ability to do long distance, the monster is much easier. But it is a really good monster for learning patterns, I think. And teaching you how to, try not to be too greedy and when to be greedy. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and the tips. I hope it helps you guys fight Diablos better. Hope you enjoyed seeing the game in 1440p if your monitor supports it. Go ahead and hit that like button if you enjoyed it. Leave a comment if you have other tips for other players. And until next time, happy hunting.